Happy Tuesday, and welcome to the Ram Ashram Satsang practice session, where you'll learn a modern Satsang technique for obtaining peace, light, and love in your life. My name is Eddie, and I will be introducing the facilitator for today's event. But first, I'd like to give a brief introduction to this practice session. If you direct your attention towards the screen, you'll see that the first element is Satsang. Satsang is a modern scientific technique for obtaining peace, light, and love in your life. No physical skill, spiritual accomplishment, or meditation experience is required to begin its practice. Satsang consists of two words, Sat and Sang. Sat means positive energy, and Sang means to be with or to be in the presence of. Therefore, the word Satsang means to be in the presence of positive energy. The next element is meditation. Meditation is an important element of Satsang. When we meditate, we withdraw our consciousness from worldly objects and direct it inwards and focus on a single thought. In doing so, our minds become calm and our thoughts become pure, thereby allowing us to obtain higher states of consciousness, such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. Inner orientation. There are two types of satsang, inner satsang and outer satsang. An example of outer satsang would be chanting or attending pilgrimages. When we practice outer satsang, we have the potential to change our behavior, but it is only through the practice of inner satsang that we can obtain higher states of consciousness such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. The satsang that you will learn today is an inner satsang where we meditate in silence. Group session. These practice sessions are structured for group participation. When we meditate as a group, our focus is improved and our progress along our spiritual path is expedited. By regularly attending these practice sessions, the benefits of group participation are amplified. Joy and inner happiness. All beings wish to experience joy. Joy is the eternal longing of the soul. But it is only through the practice of inner satsang that we can obtain a joyous state. Each time we practice satsang, our inner happiness gradually increases, ultimately culminating in a state of joy, which we experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The agenda today consists of 3 sessions: the informative session, the practice session, and the interactive session. During the informative session, a lecture will be given about a satsang topic, the founder, or some relevant spiritual topic. During the practice session, instruction will be given on how to meditate, followed by a period of practice. During the interactive session, you have the opportunity to ask questions, or there'll be a panel discussion. And now, I'd like to introduce the facilitator for today's event. He has over 40 years of satsang experience. He was born into a satsang family where he experienced his members obtain states of enlightenment and lead lives of peace, light, and love. At an early age, he began traveling with the mission throughout India, conducting satsangs. And upon arriving here in the United States with his wife, he continued to conduct satsang for satsangees. Since that time, he has led efforts to translate important satsang literature into English. It is because of his efforts that we are able to practice and learn satsang today. He currently travels throughout India and the United States conducting satsang while maintaining his duties as a husband, a father, and an IT executive. Today, he will teach us a rare and ancient form of satsang as taught by Guru Maharaj. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Sanjeev Kumarji.
Happy Tuesday. Hello, everyone. Glad to be back here. I'm traveling a bit, so my background would be different, but glad to be here for now. Today, again, we will look at the video that we shared last week on the benefits of satsang. And, typically I have seen, I think, while we do talk about benefits, there is much to learn there. There is much to understand there. And especially there is another video that's coming out this weekend on benefits, similar, but slightly different. So the idea is, like, before I put it out on YouTube, we just have a deeper look and see if there is any feedback there. There are lots of ways I think about benefits here. And I think how Dr. Ajay talks about it later after the meditation, will play the video, broken down into 3 pieces. And the idea is that there are some health benefits in terms of the physical health. And definitely, those are there. And then the next step is, when you concentrate your mind, there are some almost like psychological / mental benefits that you get. And then, of course, call them spiritual benefits, or, how we are able to leverage our intellect better once we are able to control and tone our minds. And so 3 distinct flavors of benefits. And I had been thinking about, obviously, like the way I see yoga, for example, I always look at it as yoga is a whole journey, which includes all those 3 categories of benefits. But initially, for various reasons, you start with asana and pranayams in yoga, the physical and breathing exercises, and hence you would get the benefits of health, right? Once that is in place, then you realize that you're able to focus more, you're able to graduate in some ways to other benefits, which I always like to go back to, and there is a bunch of videos that should be coming out in a few weeks. I'm thinking maybe in March, I'll release a few videos which talk about how yoga, the way Maharishi Patanjali, one of the masters of yoga as a science and art and spiritual journey, he talked about a framework, and he talks about 8 limbs. And what I find very interesting is, yes, asana and pranayam, which is physical and breathing exercises, are 2 of those 8 limbs, very important too. But then there are other 6. And, 4 of them are absolutely and very tightly related to what we do here. So if we talk about dharana, dhyan, and samadhi, as well as pratyahar, which are 8, out of the 8, 4 limbs, it's all purely about meditation or, actually, interestingly, understanding pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi would make you understand meditation a lot better. So that's why I'm going to talk about all those 4 limbs, a little deeper. So plan to do that, So the thing is that Guru Maharaj decided to focus on those 4 a lot more. And he kind of said that, must be during his time also, the same thing must be happening. People focus so much on asana and pranayama, which is important, but they make the more important ones secondary. And he basically said that, and it's kind of interesting, his statement is in a way very profound, and it could be, almost misinterpreted. But what he said was that, look at it this way: if you are doing the meditation that we do, as prescribed by him, what happens is that as soon as you go into deeper meditation, your breathing is, it kind of balances out. And hence you get some of the physical benefits out of this. So he says, what's the real reason you would do pranayama or breathing exercises is to tone your breathing. And he says, meditation in some ways helps you do that almost as a secondary benefit, but it's there. Same thing, like, now I'm sitting on a couch, but, typically, especially if you're sitting in lotus pose, he says, that is your asana. Think about in some physical pose that you can sit for 15, 20 minutes still. That is, a physical exercise of its own kind. What he said was that, yes, he used to walk, a couple of miles every day, etc. So he was, and he wrote a book on, how, physical and spiritual well-being are so well connected. So he talked about several different asanas there and all that. So, but his view was that when you make that so much more important than the other part, I think you're literally taking it upside down. So his view was that if you look at the other 4 parts, asana, pranayama, and yam and niyam, his view was, if you can sit still for this long, then you got to be doing something right in terms of, and it is an asana of its own. If you're doing meditation, breathing will automatically, you know, it becomes, you know, so breathing is part of this as well. Then he comes to the yam and niyam, which is like, how should you behave for yourself, what traits you should adopt, and what traits you should give up. So behavior with others and how you keep yourself clean, etc., etc. So he says that when you meditate, you almost show yourself a mirror and you reflect. And when you reflect, you find there are things that you need to give up or things that you need to adopt. And it also gives you the willpower, the positive energy that you imbibe, gives you the ability to execute on. One of his things was that when you meditate, if you want to see how your meditation is going, he used to say that look at your behavior. If you are seeing positive change in your behavior, then you are on right track. If you're not, then something you probably need to reflect more. Anyway, so his view was focus on the top four that I call them inner yoga. So pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi are inner yoga. Focus more on inner yoga, and the rest of the four are not, in a way, less important. It's one, some of the benefits you will get anyway, but you should pursue ways to improve your behavior, ways to, improve your breathing, your physical, activity and all that. So there is no, question about that. But if you keep the priorities straight, then you will have much more longer term benefits. So that's the whole thing there. Okay. So I think we will continue this discussion after the video, but right now, let's just focus on practice, which is the most important thing, because the rest follows. All right, so our asana is Sukham Sthir asanam. So basically relaxed and still posture. So find a relaxed, still posture in which you would minimize the bodily movements and stay still, because every time your body moves, your mind moves with it. Eyes lightly closed. And then think of this positive, uplifting, transcendental energy in form of light in front of us. Feel the presence, feel the power, feel the energy. And that energy in form of light is in front of us, entering our heart, distributing throughout our body. And we are becoming one with this light. We're getting immersed in this light. So we are becoming this energy. Mind will wander away, as it is natural. When you realize that mind has wandered away, bring it back. Bring it back to this thought and this thought alone, that we are in the presence of this transcendental energy, which is there in front of us in form of light. That light is entering our heart and distributing throughout our body, and we are becoming one with this light. We'll start with music and then continue the deep meditation, and then we'll transition out with music. Let's start now.
We just completed this meditation session following the process described by our Guru, Dr. Chaturbhuj Sahai. And this practice of sitting quietly and focusing on the thought of light entering our heart, internalizing it, and letting it flow through the body for 15 to 20 minutes, when performed regularly, it positively impacts nearly all aspects of our life. Now, broadly, the benefits of this practice can be placed in three groups: physical benefits, and the benefits which are related to a concentrated or focused mind, and then the benefits which come as a result of the inner wisdom and knowledge that builds as we go along this route of continuously practicing this. Now, first, let's talk about physical benefits. Now, demands of work, responsibilities at home, and the various challenges the life throws at us makes this modern life very busy and also very stressful. And this stress has been linked to several physical and mental ailments that are prevalent today. Just sitting down calmly for a few minutes in the morning and evening and spending time with ourselves goes a long way in reducing stress. And several studies have shown that it positively impacts our physical health by reducing risk of ailments such as heart disease, elevated blood pressure, anxiety, and sleeplessness, etc. So at a very basic level, continuously sitting down for 15-20 minutes in the morning and evening, it imparts to us physical benefits, makes us healthier, and keeps us away from certain ailments that may plague us if we just continuously get exposed to the stress that we have to deal with in our lives. The second group is the benefits that we derive from the concentrated or a focused mind. Now, the human mind is a very brilliant and remarkable machine, and I'm sure everybody knows that. Now, to harness all of its capability, it needs to be focused or concentrated. We know that water lying in puddles is not capable of much, but the same water, when it gets concentrated into a stream and is focused on turbines, it can produce abundant electricity. An unfocused mind, in a similar way, accomplishes much less as compared to what it is capable of. Focusing the mind on one thought is actually an exercise for the mind. And much like the physical exercise strengthens our body, this practice of concentrating the mind actually strengthens and energizes the mind. This helps us to perform better in whatever worldly pursuit we are engaged in. At work, we become more efficient and productive. If we are a student, it helps us to grasp subtle concepts with ease. And generally, in life, our ability to tackle complex and difficult situations gets greatly enhanced when the mind becomes focused. Not only does a focused mind help improve our performance in worldly pursuits, but it also makes us internally more peaceful, as the last point, under concentrated mind is listed here. And our mind is constantly bombarded by thoughts. It dwells in the past and thinks about the future. This disturbs our peace. A focused mind becomes capable of stopping this barrage of thoughts, and it gets concentrated on the present. That brings me to the last and the most important benefit that we derive out of this practice. And that is the benefit that we derive out of meditating on light. And the internalization of this divine light is what actually transforms us as a person. It builds in us inner wisdom and knowledge. And this wisdom guides us in making right choices, selecting appropriate behavior, and helps us understand our duty towards all people around us. As a consequence, we become better family person, better co-workers, better neighbors, better citizens, etc. Our behavior towards others improve, resulting in others treating us better. And this practice instills in us patience, tolerance, and a sense of internal detachment. The challenges of life do not necessarily go away. They will not disappear. The setbacks in life are not necessarily reversed, but this accumulating inner wisdom recalibrates our mind so that we no longer feel the pain and disappointment associated with these events. A sense of inner happiness and joy always prevails, even if we have to endure setbacks and disappointments in the worldly affairs. This is the highest form of benefit one derives from this practice. Disciplined practice over time results in gradual accumulation of this inner wisdom or knowledge and brings us real close to the goal of this practice.
All right. So almost at the top of the hour, but so any questions, comments before I ask Eddie to kind of provide the wrap-up thought here? So Deborah, I know you're far away from the mute and unmute button. But, yeah. I think you need a remote to unmute.
I'm good. I like to let other people talk, but I don't know why everyone keeps their screen black, and I feel like I'm meditating with ghosts. Except you.
That should motivate someone to.
Hi. Wow, a human being. A human being. Hello.
So, Omkar, what happened? It's
I don't know.
Your video is flickering.
Wow. Maybe we really are meditating with ghosts.
So I have this knack of like picking on things, and so the whole idea in meditation is, and I do this with a lot of other people, including some here. The words we use have a direct impact on how we think, and then how we think has a direct impact on our actions. Or let's put it slightly other way, is like my state of mind and hence my physical being depends on the choices of words, you know? So the thing is, like, when I'm thinking about meditating with transcendental energy, right? It's a nice thing to, I mean, and I know I'm nitpicking here. Hey, Omkar, it's a good to, nope, it's flickering again. So you know, I know it's nitpicking, but see, the thing is that we are with the transcendental energy, then we are with things really, really alive, not ghosts. So, but I know what you're saying, but you know, again, it's just
A choice. It's a choice that people have to.
So in some ways, so actually, and this goes back probably maybe even 2 decades. Somebody called me from Texas and they were visiting or somewhere, and I'm like, you know, and the statement was, I'm lonely, and I'm, you know, I said, see, the whole idea of satsang is to never feel alone. And it's like, and once you are in the presence of this energy, you are complete, literally. Like that's the state that we have to get to, that it's energizing, it's uplifting, it brings in this joy, brings in, you know, the way we are feeling is like, it goes up and you're like, you know, I am where I need to be, right? And so I don't know, I mean, and maybe it's like just me, but I feel satsang just brings this strength, inner strength, that just, you know, it brings in a presence that, you know, is one, very alive. 2, is the opposite of darkness. It's opposite of loneliness. It's the opposite of, you know, being in the dumps or with ghosts.
So are you saying that even though everyone's screen is dark, when you really meditate with us in the group, that you feel the presence of the group? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. And so one other thing, and it's a nuance here and subtle. So the thing is that every one of us has consciousness, right? And everything around us has consciousness. Once we become aware, that's why it's called like awareness, right? This, when you increase that awareness, then you see that, right? So the collective, yes. So the collective energy. I mean, I'm actually with you when you say why everybody is not turning the video on, and that beats me. I mean, seriously.
Okay,
right?
so I don't know. It's to be known. What if you were known? Because we already know that all the other squares are interested in finding more peace and sitting and seeking something in common with each other or whatever. So I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I'm glad they're all here, and I'm so thrilled that Ankar has a face.
Okar has a face, Rajat has a face, Kelly has a face, even Yuan, who is the host, who I rarely see. Interestingly, he is the host who makes this happen, and we're very thankful for him. Always, I am, and I think everyone is, that it makes all this, go so smoothly and everything else. So his presence is making this happen. So, think of like the sun, right? And this is different context, but I just, taking just
you can't see it all the time, but it's shedding light everywhere.
So one of the examples I give is like people sometimes feel disconnected, et cetera, and I say, look at the sun, right? Sun is there. Even when there is night, sun is there, right? It's just our orientation, because of where we are on earth, has made us not see the sun. Doesn't mean sun has disappeared or sun is not there, right? So even like when we talk about emotional clouds take our joy away, our, some of, so clouds also, cover the sun, and it appears like sun has gone away, but that's not the case. So it's the same way with consciousness. It's the presence and the energy is there. But what we have done is, with our emotional clouds, we have kind of disconnected from that constant source of energy and joy. And that's what we need to undo. We have learned somehow to do that to ourselves. And meditation is one way to just go back to our, quote unquote, the natural state, which is not so natural anymore. Oh, very well. So I just find some reason to talk, I think. That's what it is.
Someone has to.
Someone has to, exactly. And someone has to keep the video on. I try my best to, it's like...
I'd be curious to know, I happen to be, not to be get an award, but I happen to be familiar with the book of Patanjali and his, which I can't say that when I read it, I understand everything in it, but not by far, but I have read it many times. And also the yamas and the niyamas and the 8 limbs of yoga that you talk about. So how many other people, is everyone here already familiar with those things as well? I'd be curious. Ankar?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, I have not read that. I have heard about these things from various people. And that's it. If you ask me, like, do I understand them? Probably no. Did I experience them? Probably yes. But I would not call myself expert. I have not controlled yam niyam, asan, and the practice that we are doing. That's all I do.
Mm-hmm.
And
Deborah, I'll translate this in English, and what that means is the answer is yes, yes, and yes. He understands. He has practiced, but through the lens of this practice,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
So given where he is at, and he would not, he would disagree with me even, but I know he is up there.
Well, this is exactly what you were talking about in the beginning. And you were actually saying like how there's many pathways in, and that yoga is one pathway, and you focus on what I would call, it's very body focused to kind of get you in the door, where you're saying this practice sort of gets to the root of the top layers of the pyramid faster, or without, or a different way, or that's more of the focus or whatever. So, I think that's sort of where we started. That the tail can wag the dog.
Wow.
I mean, that's what Ankar's saying, and that's what you're saying about Ankar.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm just stumbling along with my monkey mind reading books, but I'll be back next week.
No. I'll tell you, Deborah. The thing is that I think once you're practicing this and you get a little deeper, and personally, I think I'll in one of the sessions I'll go over, just by practicing this, the pratyahar, dharana, and dhyan, those three are so integral to this practice that you're literally every single session, those three, you are almost like not just practicing, you are slowly mastering. And I can explain that in more detail. And then samadhi is where you need to get to, which also, that samadhi is a very advanced topic and subject, but the more I have looked at, as soon as you will start getting to a better place, either from awareness or consciousness or behavior perspective, either of those, you will find that, let me put it this way. I think from other practices, this one will take you to, that state of samadhi far faster than anything else.
Great, because I'm running out of time. I don't know about you people, but I'm getting older.
So actually, we all are. We like to say it that way or not. I think we all, if we are not getting there, we're wasting time. So
no, I understand the journey part. I mean, I'm on the journey. That's all I can say. But I do feel like I'm, like time is precious. Not because I'm so busy, just because I'm old, and I have a lot of way to go to enlightenment. So I better get busy, or get unbusy, whichever the case may be. So that's it. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate it. Thanks for putting up with my...
Sure thing. And Kelly, if you can, if you have time to type in something. And on that note, Eddie, wrap up thought.
I think Deborah summed up what one of the very important aspects of this satsang that we learn is, and that is, if you take a look at the 8 limbs and you start to read it, you find that you start from the first layer of or one of the first limbs. And then you start to read about the yam and the niyam, or the pranayams, and then the yam and the niyam, and the concentration, meditation, so forth. And you realize that after you've been in this satsang, you realize that that pathway is almost impossible to achieve. And so by doing it in the reverse direction, you stand a greater chance of achieving the ultimate goal of yoga. And so for her to sort of find that out on her own, it's like,
hopeful, very hopeful.
very, very enlightening. But this is one of the most positive benefits of this satsang, because, just to say it another way, if you practice this satsang, you will get there. Guru Maharaj has done this 3 times. And he said that if you start from the bottom up, it's very difficult. Well, really and honestly, from what I've read, he said it's impossible to achieve yoga in that way. And so he gave this system where you start from the top and sort of look down, and then you can make your way to the natural state of samadhi. So it's very observant of you to realize that, and that this method will do that for you. So, congratulations, and we'll see you next week.
Definitely, I'll be back. Thank you, everyone.
All right, happy Tuesday, everyone, and have a great week ahead, and we'll see you all soon. Thanks, Deborah.
Namaste.
Thank you, Sanjeev.
Namaste.
Namaste.